All around, in every direction, are musicians. Tall ones, short ones, fat ones, angry ones, old ones, bored ones, beardy ones, greasy ones, the lank-haired, the dark-eyed, the scruffy-jeaned and the pale of face. Music shops are crammed like slum shacks onto both sides of the street. Vintage rock music farts through open doorways from knackered speakers, and the pungent tin-foil tang of cheap Chinese takeaway chokes the air. Quietly, I slip down the alleyway beside Andy's guitars, and light fades into shadow. Pandora's box, George is saying as he traces a finger across a forest of papers, plastered across the wall. The chaos of adverts, posters, business cards and flyers, several layers thick, sits beneath a sign reading "Musicians Wanted." "Hiding on here somewhere is our dream bass player," says George. "I can feel it." Moving across to the wall, I come face to face with a black and white poster, letterheaded by a crudely drawn skull and crossbones. It reads, "Drummer wanted for neo-medieval, crunkcore, sludge metal act Bumsnogger. Major labels interested and genuine offer on the table from Top Banana management. Must be into death grind, cyber grind, spine shank, carcass, anthrax, piercings, fetish culture and sharing groupies." And underneath that, "Guitarist wanted for Australian hip-hop, stroke black ambient, stroke Celtic reggae, crossover six-piece, the f***ing cats. No time wasters, please." This is useless. I'll bet not one of these people has ever sat down and had a really good listen to the best of the House Martins. "Now we're talking." George is tapping at a flyer on the wall in front of him. "This is it. This is our man. I've found him." He plucks the piece of paper from the wall and bounds over, waving it in my face. "He's a bass player, he's toured with Brian Ferry and Tom Jones, and he's looking for a quality pop rock band with prospects. You should give him a call." "Why me?" "Well, because you're better at, speaking and that." He smiles and lobs a stick of gum into his mouth. Reluctantly, I key in the contact number, and the phone begins to ring. What do I... Oh, bugger. "This is Calvin's phone. Here comes the beep. You know what to do." Beep! Hi. So, hello. I found your number down a sort of back passage in Soho. What do I say? I hiss at George. He is casually inspecting some mud beneath his fingernails. Just tell him about our vibe and get him to call us back. Vibe? What do you mean vibe? We don't have any vibe. He grins at me, chewing. "So, our vibe is acoustic trad ballad, heavily influenced by Christa Berg." George is shaking his head and miming the slitting of his throat. "Although obviously not Christa Berg because he's rubbish, but more like the English crowded house meets..." George is now dancing a jig and pointing at his shoes. When I raise an eyebrow at him, he abandons the jig in favour of pretending to ride a very small horse. Meets modern day Herman's Hermits. So give me a call. Okay, cheerio. Okay, bye. I hang up and slump against the wall. Well, that was utterly awful. And what was that thing you were doing with the jig and the horse riding? He grins at me again. "Counting crows." "Well, why didn't you mime somebody counting crows then?" "Too obvious," he shrugs, and returns to his investigation. Shoving my hands deep into my pockets, I watch him carefully examine a poster advertising a band called Daddy's Ball Bag, and the rain begins to fall. We've got a very long way to go.